How are you measuring effort?
I'm not, that's dumb.
Don't say that, fellow coach.
Prove it.
Hello, everybody. Coach Mike,
Coach Ed.
Results Driven Fitness, here with another installment of Movement Monday.
A common theme in our Movement Monday post has been just about how to train more intelligently and avoid the no pain, no gain mentality.
One of the ways that we train more intelligently here at Results Driven is by using a heart rate monitor system to help measure the effort that our clients are putting into their workouts.
Using heart rate as one of your gauges for effort level makes you more likely to avoid working too hard. It also gives you just a window into how your body is potentially able to adapt to stress.
Now, one of the things that we want you to think about and that we encourage our members to think about is just when you're starting the process of working out, what's your goal? Do you want to look better, move better, feel better, or perform better?
And no matter where you fall in that, unless you're in more specific performance guidelines like a specific sport, or you are moving towards more extreme strength protocols like you're training for a powerlifting meet. If you're outside of those categories, this whole process actually is pretty similar for everyone.
So we know from our experience working as coaches for however long we've been working, that clients tend to fall into two categories. You have the go, go, go client who works way too hard, and then you have the client who kind of hangs out and doesn't work hard enough. And that's not necessarily saying that they're lazy, but that they don't know how to go hard.
And people just tend to live on one of those two extremes. And the typical way that people measure progress would be maybe in progress in your weight lifted or the number of sets and reps you do, or maybe if you're out there hitting the pavement, number of miles run. While it is a good idea to track that, it's just an incomplete measure and you're more likely to hit a plateau. We just want to introduce a way that you can continue to progress.
So the ways that we measure here at Results Driven, as I mentioned, heart rate is one of the ways that we monitor. We use the MyZone system here. We also measure movement with the FMS. We measure body composition with our fancy in-body scale. And we also measure nutrition through encouraging people to food journal.
All of these pieces just let us know when we have a conversation about your progress, what might potentially need to change. So for example, if somebody's goal is fat loss and they're not progressing the way they want in terms of body composition, we can look at which aspect of what we measure might be a little off. A lot of times that's effort level.
So how can you apply what we do here at Results Driven to your own training? We want to give you a window into how we measure effort here and how we program exercises to help our members achieve their goals.
When we set up a group of exercises together, most times what we have is one big bang for your buck movement, typically a lower body move like a squat or a deadlift, or maybe for some people that don't move as well, a sled push. So we have that big bang for your buck lower body move, pair it with a non-competing upper body movement, and then finish it off with a core or restorative movement.
So the first thing that we encourage our members to do is just check their heart rate before they move into their next exercise. So at the beginning of the set, like Ed mentioned, there's going to be some big bang for your buck lower body movement, deadlift, squat, split squat, sled push, something super awesome that's going to burn a lot of calories and get your heart rate up. We want to make sure that their heart rate starts in the 60 to 69% range. And then from there, we want them to perform that big lower body movement until their heart rate reaches 80%. That doesn't mean that they're going to do as many as they can as fast as they can. It means they want to choose a weight and a rep scheme that allows them to get there moderately comfortably. From there, we want them to rest and get down into the 70s before they perform that non-competing upper body exercise. So where should you start if you want to start training more effectively using heart rate monitoring? The first thing that we would say is use a heart rate monitor that you trust. Here we use the MyZone system. That's the system that we use here at Results Driven for two reasons. First, we just like that the clients wear it, and on the back end, us as coaches can take a look at their effort trends to see where they fall in terms of how much work they're putting into their workouts. The second reason we like the MyZone is because it has effort points or MEPs. That's another way that clients can see how much work they're doing and how much work they're doing over time. So we can look at 2-week trends, month trends. We can, the client can name the workout in the app. So they can not only see like, wow, I put in this, I got this many effort points on this day, but I was doing this specific workout. So you're able to really zero in on what workouts are effective, and maybe some workouts kick your butt too much or they're not being effective enough.
So in terms of those effort points with the MyZone, we generally recommend that people stay in the 110 to 140 range. So yeah, we can tell you to stay in certain heart rate zones, but the great thing, like Mike said about that, those effort points, is we can just have a quicker glance as to whether they're in the right zones or not. So if we just use a specific example from my workout, yes, I keep a training journal. It's beautiful.
$9.99.
At Results Driven, 13 Lake Street, Monroe, New York. So on my recent workout that I did, I have a goblet Cossack squat, which is just a squat variation. I go into an inverted row or a bodyweight row using rings, and then a kettlebell drill called the open half kneel windmill. Now, what matters there is understanding which movements for me I need to be in the right zones. In my specific scenario, my 80 to 90% range, so my 80% heart rate is 146 beats per minute. I know that when I start to approach a level higher than that, it's a good idea to start to rest if the movement is more skill-based. So if I'm in that Cossack squat, which is a little more challenging for me right now, I know that once I hit that 80 mark or that 146 beats per minute to rest. I also know that before I start it, I should be somewhere in that 110 to 127 beats per minute range. And that's one of the great things about the MyZone is that we're just able to look at, instead of having to analyze specific numbers in your heart rate, since the system is color-coded, I know that I start to rest, I start to go for that movement when I'm in the blue, and I start to rest when I start to reach the yellow.
So I think we can all agree that this is pretty geeky, right? We're taking like this strappy thing, we're putting this thingy to it, you gotta charge it, you're putting electronics to your body, next thing you know, you're freaking Iron Man or the Hulk, you're getting solicited by Samuel L. Jackson, he's trying to bring you back to the Avengers, that's it, right?
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
I thought that was Scooby-Doo. It's geeky, we're looking at trends, we're looking at numbers, but the good thing to understand here is that taking that little extra time to detail can mean big benefits in the end. So this helps you avoid that no pain, no gain mentality, and I think you can see that you can still get a really good workout and not kick your own ass.
Worst case scenario, if you're not going to go out and invest in either the MyZone system or another heart rate monitoring system, just use good sense when you're training. So like we mentioned, there's certain ways that you can pair your exercises together more effectively, more efficiently. So if you're going to do something that's a little more challenging and potentially risky if you're not well rested, make sure you do something that doesn't tax your system as much right before. So if you're going to squat, maybe do a simpler core-based movement right before you start it. And then when you start to see that work, maybe you'll come around to heart rate training.
So if training intelligently is something that you care about and getting results is something you care about and you like working out and all that cool stuff, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can follow all of the cool content that we produce here at Results Driven at www.resultsdrivenfs.com.
Check back next week as we just dive a little deeper into how to train intelligently and go over how pain is actually the body's sign that something's wrong. It can be a great teaching tool in certain situations, but you want to make sure you approach training when pain is present the right way.